Hey everybody, Ben here from the Bonehead podcast, and welcome to Blood Bowl 7's Nurgle. So we're going through all the teams available in Blood Bowl 2020, whether it's the rulebook, the Teams of Legend PDF, or the NAF expanded teams, and we're putting together some of the best rosters that we think are going to do well in standard Blood Bowl 7's format. So if you don't know what Blood Bowl 7's is, it's a fast play format with a smaller pitch, some smaller teams, and some smaller player selection. Basically, you get a game in about 45 minutes, and I love it. We've got an intro video to Blood Bowl 7's on our YouTube channel as well, along with 2 seasons worth of games. So I do recommend you check out 7 Super Series if you want to see how 7s can come together really, really well. They are Blood Bowl 2016 rules, not 2020, but that's okay. It's still really great fun. So anyway, we are now going to have a look at some of what I think are the best rosters for Nurgle. Okay, so Nurgle in Blood Bowl 7's, there's actually some reasonable strengths here for this team. The 2 top ones being Pestigors. So Pestigors are all-round great players. Movement 6, Edge 3+, plus Horns, they are basically the fastest and probably most flexible players on this team. They blitz at strength 4, which means they're great for breaking out or for taking out. So really like the Pestigors in this build. And it's backed up by a selection of strength 4 and strength 5 players. The Beast of Nurgle is strength 5 and comes with tentacles, so you put him on 1 or 2 players and they are going to struggle to escape it. The strength 4 blitzers, the strength 4 blockers also do an incredible amount of work. Disturbing presence, foul appearance, along with just being what? Armor 10 plus and strength 4 means that these guys are absolute tanks in the game as well. Blood Bowl 7's, you need some movement, so let's have a look at some of the weaknesses here. They are limited on Edge 3+. The Rotters are now Edge 4+, so they lose a bit of ball handling skills there. In 7's, you can only have up to 4 non-lineman positionals, so the fact that the linemen on this team are Edge 4+ instead of Edge 3+ does hurt the team a little bit when it comes to ball handling skills. 140k for a reroll, because in 7's you double the cost of the reroll, because it's really representing the kind of unprofessional teams. That's how it works, but also it speeds up gameplay if you don't have a load of rerolls. So 140k for a reroll is a big investment. It's almost a quarter of your team value. And they are light on starting skills: no block, no sure hands, no dodge. They're light on agility and they're light on movement. So actually Nurgle come with quite a challenge, but they have got a ton of strength, and those skills can be used to put together a horrifically good defense. So let's have a look at some rosters. So the first roster we're going to look at just utterly leans into Edge 4. So it's the 4-4, 4+ build. It comes in at bang on 600k, and all it consists of are just 4 of the best blockers in the game. So 4 bloaters and 4 rotters build this team. So those bloaters are just going to form the backbone of everything you're doing here. You are facing into the 4+ edge challenge, but the whole idea is that you can use that strength, that disturbing presence, to just dominate on the board. You spread those 4 players out and nothing is getting through them, and you've got some reasonably mobile rotters to fill in the gaps afterwards, and because you've got 1 spare on bench, you can go for a foul on something that the bloaters knock down. So it's going to be a grind, but this is going to be potentially the strongest, physically strongest team that you can deploy on the 7's pitch. And as far as Nurgle goes, it gives a really good representation of playing Nurgle. You are slow. Your agility is not great, but you are strong and resilient, and you are playing the slow grind death game. But let's say that playing with agility 4 is not for you. You can tweak it up ever so slightly. So the 2 pesty, 2 bloaty build comes in at 555. Some of these rosters are going to come in at under 600k. It's up to you to spend the outstanding cash. I recommend assistant coaches because that's going to come up on the kickoff table and is going to give you a chance at sneaking a reroll onto your team, which is obviously 140k, so that's pretty beneficial. So I'd say take 4 assistant coaches here and just hope for a decent kickoff result. 2 bloaters and 2 Pestigors backed up by 5 Rotters. You get a ton of players here, so immediately you've got a bench of 2, which means you can go fouling, and quite frankly you can be reckless as heck with the Rotters. They're agility 4+, so they're not dodging into places brilliantly, but actually if you've got an opportunity to go for a natural 6 dodge into somewhere, worst case scenario you lose a Rotter, you've got 2 spare, so don't be afraid to be reckless as you like with the Rotters. Now what this roster does give you over the other one is you get 2 bloaters to be your linebackers, to be your blockers, to be the guys who punch holes in things. And the 2 Pestigors with their Edge 3+ and horns means they're blitzing on strength 4 that backs up. You've got 2 players here with Edge 3+. That is basically most teams' sweet spot for agility. So these Pestigors are going to be your ball carriers, and they're going to allow you to have the 2 bloaters anchor and one of these Pestigors to blitz in. So actually this is probably the best middle ground between the strength and the resilience of the Nurgle team, while actually allowing yourself an opportunity to play Blood Bowl as well. Skills wise, the bloaters absolutely thrive when you get them block. They're blitzing, they're just blocking, it's fantastic. The Pestigors, now obviously block is also very beneficial, but it wouldn't be the worst thing in the world to take sure hands on one of them to be your primary ball carrier. When it comes to the Rotters, kick is going to massively help this team. I know I say kick was going to help every team, but in 7s that is just so important. You're rolling 2d6 and taking the lowest when it comes to scattering the ball. Halving that again on kick means that you can drop that ball real close to your front line, and all it takes is the opponent to muff their pickup, and you have got this swarm of diseased villains ready to just pounce, chuck tackle zones on there, and with disturbing presence, they're not getting that ball out. No. So you get the advantage there. But of course, you could always just lean even further into the low agility angle here, dropping a bloater from our 4+, to pick up the Rot Spawn. Now, what this does do for you is it just upgrades that 4th strength 4 piece to a single strength 5 beast. Literally a beast of Nurgle. So the beast of Nurgle, having strength 5, having mighty blow, and having tentacles is going to allow you to have a big bruiser. But the fact is, it's got tentacles. That means it's not just applying tackle zones on the pitch. Now there's 11 squares wide, it's taking up 3 of those. Anybody going in there is going to have to dodge out, and they're going to have to take that tentacles test as well. So the Rot Spawn can form just a huge part of your defense. Because you're running a team of 8 players, if you're on the offense, if you need that speed, you don't even need to run with the Rot Spawn on offense. Now, it's a huge TV sink, so if you're not running it, you are kind of leaving a lot on the bench, literally. But actually, it might help your offense, because there are going to be some circumstances where having to leave a Rotter with the Rot Spawn to get the really stupid movement moving might just be better to leave the Rot Spawn off and have those 2 extra Rotters moving around to support your 3 bloaters, which is a ton of strength, to do a lot of work. So you kind of end up with 1 heavy, 3 solid backup pieces, and a bunch of the little guys. Everybody's Edge 4+, the Rot Spawn might even be 5+, I think it is. Yeah, definitely 5+. So your ball handling skills here are going to be garbage, but you've got the strength and you've got the resilience there to just swarm and dominate. The other thing you can do is you can drop a bloater and take a Pestigor and a Rotter instead. And then, I think I said this when I was talking about the Necro team, you end up with a kind of microcosm of what Nurgle is. 1 Rot Spawn, 2 bloaters, 1 Pestigor, and 5 Rotters means that you are going to have a big, flexible team. 1 bruiser, 2 bloaters to support, and that Pestigor to actually be there to give you a chance at handling the ball. And don't forget, the Pestigor can take passing skills on on secondary skills. So this team is tier 2. You could end up with the opportunity, depending on your skill package, to take that leader reroll on the Pestigor, and that's really going to unlock this team. So max ST with the option there of trading down a bloater into a Pestigor and another Rotter is a really strong roster here for Nurgle. But let's flip it around. Let's take 3 Pestigors, 1 bloater, 3 Rotters, and a reroll. So you get 1 bloater to be your strength 4 piece. You are kind of leaning away from where Nurgle is, which is slow and steady wins the race, but actually medium slow and horns is going to do a pretty good job anyway. So 1 bloater, 3 Pestigors, and 3 Rotters. 7 players. Your Pesties and your Bloater has regen. The Rotters, I don't think they do have regen. So you are a little bit player light. Anyway, the Rotters are a little bit vulnerable, so you could end up losing a player here and going a player down. But you should be blitzing at strength 4 with the Pestigore, punching at strength 4 with the Bloater. So you should be able to hold kind of evens on the attrition race. That one reroll is going to be phenomenally successful for you. And if you've got that secondary skill, you can chuck it on a Pestigore. Then you're looking at a team with 3 potentially strength 4 blitzers, 1 strength 4 blocker. Yeah, sure. 4 of your starting 7 players have got agility 4+, not agility 3+. But if you've got the reroll and you've got that leader reroll, you're actually looking at 2 rerolls. And you've got a really strong, just cohesive force here of strong players with a lot of flexibility. And last but not least, we've got a slightly different one here. It is similar to the last one. So fast reroll build comes in at 580. It's just Pestigores and Rotters and 1 reroll. Everything we just said about the last roster applies to this. 4 Pesties is going to mean that you are pretty fast, actually. So you've got movement 6 and movement 5, strength, movement 6 and movement 5 players, agility 4+ and half, agility 3+ and half, and that reroll already bought in. Everything we just said applies. What this does, this becomes the Pestigore team. So you are going to miss out on the disturbing presence, I think, or at least the strength of the Bloaters, but you're going to make up for it by just having a Beastman team backed up with, quite frankly, some chaff linemen. I'm not a huge fan of this one, but we have to put at least one meme roster into every video. Okay, so my choice for a Nurgle roster, if you're planning on going to a 7s event and you want to run Nurgle, is the max strength build, but do that thing where you can swap one of your Bloaters for a Pestigore and an extra Rotter. You end up with 9 players coming in at 585. You get the Rot Spawn, you get 2 Bloaters, and you get the Pestigore. The Rot Spawn could be a bit of a hindrance for you. I did run them in, what was it? Was it Standard 7? No, it was Dungeon Bowl 7s. And that was quite fun, actually. Ran them against Lizardmen. And the Rot Spawn can be a beast on the pitch. So the Rot Spawn being your strength 5 piece, backed up by 2 Bloaters, and then the Pestigore there to finish the little formation and actually have that extra bit of speed, an extra bit of punch. It's got regen, it's sticking around, and you've got a ton of linemen here to back it up. I actually think this roster, tier 2, the team is tier 2, this is tier 2, but it is going to be a solid tier 2, and I actually think that Nurgle are going to perform way better in 7s than you would consider, and I like this roster to do that. Strength 4 pieces are great in 7s, there's no nega trait, they just are stronger than the rest. The Rot Spawn, I'm a big fan of big guys. The Rot Spawn takes a bit of work there with the whole really stupid piece. But because you've got the spare lineman, if you're in a situation where you need a 2-turn touchdown, you can get it with your Pestigore. You drop the Rot Spawn out, you put the 2 Rotters in. You can flex out and you've got the manpower to do it. I actually think that's going to be really useful to be able to do. So I like this roster better than most, and you get the Rot Spawn, you get Bloaters, you get Pestigores, and you get Rotters, so you get kind of like the full mini Nurgle lineup, and I think that's pretty sweet. Anyway guys, I am going to wrap up the video for Nurgle in Blood Bowl 7s. Do let me know in the comments below which of these rosters you like, and if there's one I've missed off, because you guys are much better at coming up with clever rosters than I am, and I massively appreciate it. Anyway, I'm going to disappear, and we'll be back soon with some more Blood Bowl content. Happy blocking. Thanks very much for watching, we really appreciate your support. If you want to support the show even further, please like and subscribe, it really helps us out. Or come and join us in our Patreon, link below, where you get early access to our content and monthly competitions. See you later.